again. Big opening. Pass 5. Pass 10. Perko's a man. And he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards out the terror.
Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oakbridge Wealth Management. I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, with a special guest. Bernie, tell us who is with you.
Man, every day is a holiday. It's an actual holiday. That's right. This is Maple Bernstein. This is my 3.5-year-old. She loves... Well, Ruby's not on the podcast with us, but she is here with us in the house, and we're going to talk Badgers. We're going to talk about the Mets, but the red jersey Mets. I can put it inside your ear.
It's going to be a good one,
guys.
Today,
sorry.
It's going to be a fun one today, Bernie, with Maple in the house. Before we get into our usual Monday morning fullback, want to remind everyone tuning in that we continue to be presented by BetOnline.ag, the world's most trusted betting platform. Make sure that you are heading on over to BetOnline.ag for every stat, matchup breakdown, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during games. BetOnline has the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, political props. It's all there. When the game's over, head online to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with over 150 different slot games. Head on over to the website today. That's betonline.ag to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online. The game starts here. And of course, our main man, Chris Anicetti, and his team over at Oakbridge Wealth Management. If you are a current or future pro athlete or an NCAA athlete with NIL deals, Chris Anicetti is the man that you need to connect with to get your money right. Over at Oakbridge, Chris and his team specialize in wealth management for professional athletes. They understand all the pressures that you face on a day-to-day basis. Chris and his team will set you up with a bespoke plan to make your money work for you off the field so you can focus on what you do best, and that's perform on the field. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at OakbridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakbridgeWM_ANICETE. Or head on over to the website, OakbridgeWealthMGMT.com. That's Chris Anicetti and Oakbridge Wealth Management. All right, Bern, let's get into it here on Monday Morning Fullback. Make sure that you go and check out the live show I did late Saturday night with James White and Warren Herring, our friends from over at the Money Down podcast. We had fun breaking it down for about 30 minutes. Bernie, this is a second consecutive week, though, with with the Badgers, with a blowout win over 500 yards on offense. And Bernie, which I'm sure was a delight to your eyes, having a rushing attack that was dominant once again for the first time in a minute.
This was a program win. I said it with Mike on it, and it was and you like the game too? Yeah. It was a program win, and this is like a catapult. I mean, we saw, I think the team get better, played a better competition, and went out and still did over between 500 and 600 yards. That's unheard of for Wisconsin football, just in general. I think we saw a lot of great things. I see my only ugliest Will Pauling getting injured it's horrific. I hate seeing it wasn't dirty. It just was the angle was bad and it just hit him differently.
Play.
But but outside of that, the Badgers played, I think, an all-around football game, and we needed this win. We needed to show everyone, fans, alumni, Wisconsin, that we could do it. And I think we did.
It's not just the offense, though, Bernie, because one of the things that we talked about with Mike Broadbent last week when we were previewing the game with him was the fact that Wisconsin was going to have a tough time stopping Kyle Monangai and this Rutgers rushing attack. And guess what? They did it, and they did it very admirably. And one of the things that I said on the rapid recap was that I was really impressed with Wisconsin's defensive line, especially Ben Barton. Kurt Neal played another good game. We're starting to get more and more. Elijah Hills continues to step up. Brandon Lane even Brandon Lane, I thought, played his best game of the season too. So it's very encouraging to me, Byrne, to see a defensive line that's starting to come into their own at least a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I was so impressed with the defense. I mean, outside of Hallman just dropping an easy pick because he's not used to the ball just ending up in his breadbasket, they were suffocating. I mean, one of the best, if not the best, Big Ten rushers. We shut him down. He had like 7 yards into the second quarter, something like crazy. So I was very excited to see them step up. They've continued to impress me. I mean, game in and game out, with 2 down linemen, we literally said, run the football and we're gonna stop you. And it looked really good out there. And I can't believe it, but like, this team is coming together. I might be wrong. We're kind of like just figuring it out, but this is kind of what I expected from a Badger football team last year. And yes, like we need to give them a runway, but the D line, the linebackers, these guys came to play. I mean, it's a hard, no one gave them a shot. We're going to Rutgers. They're coming off of 2 like hard losses, I guess, in a Purdue win, but a team that is almost actually Purdue almost won. So it's kind of interesting, but they literally scored 14 points in the first quarter and they took their foot off the gas for a second quarter. And then we are a second half team. There are so many good things, but the defense was just, what did they went 3 and out. They had 5 punts in a row to start the game. You can't win like that. It was beautiful.
Unless you're Iowa. Iowa can win like that, but maybe only Iowa can do that. Bernie, we've been doing Hang Your Hat on It here, presented by Melon, the world's most durable hat. Test it for yourself. Get it over at melon.com. That's MELIN.com, the world's most durable and rugged hat. And we've been enjoying these, Bernie. I really like the white one, though. I think the white one is super sharp. I want to try one of their, I'm a dad hat guy, so I want to try some of the dad hats. I'm hoping we'll get some more of those in the mail soon. But Bernie, what did the Badgers hang their hat on this weekend? If you had to put it on one thing, either side of the ball, what do you think it was that they were really able to hang their hat on in this dominant victory?
I mean, great question. First off, Maple took the red one, so I had to take the white one. Both sides running the football and then stopping the run. I mean, we made their quarterback so uncomfortable. He was all over the place. And Braden Locke, that's not what we're hanging our hat on, but he was comfortable. But I mean, the run game, Tyree Walker had what, 201 yards or 98? 198. Yeah. Okay. 198 yards, almost to 200, 3, touchdowns, 1 beautiful run. He was like almost untouched. The run game for us worked for every single back that was back there. Brunner was crushing dudes, scarily crushing, looking like old school football. And I'll say what, we could hang our hat on the run, and we can hang our hat last game on stopping the run. And that is how we won the football game.
And then to me, with that, you mentioned being an old school game, Byrne. And it was an old school game. They just happened to take it out of the shotgun instead of the I formation or go in 12 personnel. Because I thought one of the things that they were able to hang their hat on this game was smart, creative, situational play calling. I thought Phil Longo, last 2 games, obviously, it's not just the results, but it's the sequencing of plays. Guys are not just open. They're not winning in the margins. Like last year, they had to really win in those tight windows with Will Pauling. There are guys that are wide open. And, the offensive line obviously paving the way for the running game is huge. But I think they're starting to call. I think one of the reasons that they're doing that is that Longo and the offensive line are really starting to understand each other's strengths and what they do best. And so I'm thoroughly impressed with what has been going on the offensive side of the ball over the last couple games. I really don't have there's not a whole lot of negative come out of this place. I don't even mind the Locke interception, man. He's trying to push the ball downfield. I guess he had maybe 3 passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. I think that's probably the only negative out of that performance. That's something I've been watching for a while. Yeah, Maple knows all about getting passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. But overall, you got to hand it to Locke for being ready when his number was called, and and taking advantage of a situation where he's showing that he can really be the guy if he wants to be the guy.
I absolutely love where Braden Locke is at right now. I mean, this guy is. Too. You like it too? He's throwing the ball downfield. He's confident. Like when that guy gets juiced up and confident and throws the ball downfield. Throw the ball. Right? Throws the ball downfield. Vinny Anthony, like all these guys, it's great. And I think that mixed with the run game has opened everything up. I'll tell you what, though. Phil Longo in the second quarter, it was almost like a blip. And then, because the first quarter I thought was great. And then the third and fourth quarter, they came back and went with the stuff that they were good at. And I agree. He was calling a great game. I mean, we had a bubble screen that I loved, and it was just like a little teeny bubble screen. And it was fantastic.
One of the things that I was really impressed with, I was really impressed with Longo's use of Darion Dupree in the passing game. I love the shovel pass. I love his work in the red zone on the right-hand side of the formation. I think that set up a Tyree Walker touchdown on 4th and 1 in the first quarter. I think that was to the second touchdown of the day. And just it felt good. It felt, I don't have a whole lot to critique here, man. Like it's really good. Going into this weekend, Wisconsin faces Northwestern on the road, and at that weird little temporary stadium on the waterfront in Chicago. It's going to be a weird atmosphere. Northwestern also coming off a very impressive victory, 37-10 at Maryland. And just Northwestern always seems to give Wisconsin a run for their money, no matter how good Wisconsin is or how bad Northwestern is. So, Bern, what do you think about this weekend? What do you think that they need to do in order to keep the offense rolling?
I just think they need to do exactly what they've been doing. Something is working. Something's clicking. Maybe it's, all the outside stuff has been cut away. All the so-called fat has been cut away. But you have Braden Locke throwing the ball down the field, looking confident, making great throws. One interception down the field. Look at every NFL team. They do the exact same things. The run game, keep Tyree Walker juiced up and going. I mean, I love it. The O-line has gotten tremendously better. There is not one thing that I'm not excited about on the offensive side. 500 yards? I mean, I'm not expecting that every game, but somebody asked in the group, football text, are we back? And my response was, if we play like this, yes. A dominant front with linebackers making plays, DBs, Mike Eccles' birthday, shout out to Mike Eccles. He could, these guys are all over the field. Everyone is all over the field. So I love that for the offense. For the defense, just do the same thing, man. We're confusing people. We're playing hard. I mean, we have 2 down linemen. We're telling people to run the ball, and then we're beating them. Somehow, some way, I'm like mystified and excited about it. But again, it is a different whole team. I would say our identity is playing in the second half.
Yeah,
outside of
I would
USC,
say our identity is starting to be that second half toughness, and they're really starting to see a couple of the athletes on this team are really starting to separate themselves, and really starting to be just force of nature. I think Tretch has been great the last couple of games. I want to see the ball keep getting into his hands. And one thing I'm sure about those guys are staying hydrated and getting ready with Cherubundy, tart cherry juice. Bernie, turns out everyone loves Cherubundy. Everyone that's been on the show of late has been talking about how they use Cherubundy in the locker room. So I'm glad to hear that, because I'm using it in my locker room, which by that I mean my office. But tart cherry juice, all sorts of antioxidants, all sorts of natural health benefits. It reduces soreness, increases recovery, helps support immunity, used by 66 out of 67 Power 4 conference football teams, every NCAA football and basketball champ since 2007, every NFL team. Learn more at cherubundy.com, CHERIBUNDI.com, or get it at your local grocer today. So, Bernie, as we sort of transition now into like the real thick of it, into the real heart of Big Ten play, they've got this game, but then they've got a couple tough tests coming up. And if you are obviously you've got to take everything one game at a time. In Northwestern's not going to be a joke, but I think that there is at least a little bit of not just positive momentum, but positive sort of thought and look ahead in the program now, and feeling like if they keep playing like this, they can beat anyone on any given Saturday.
I mean, I completely agree. We're game planning well. We're doing what we need. I mean, we went into that game knowing you have to stop the run at Rutgers, and we stopped the run. I mean, that was their main thing. We're going to try to establish the run. We established it, and we also threw down the field. I think we're dangerous now. I mean, if we have confidence, Vinny, Anthony, these guys can push the field. I mean, we have, and what I like is we have more times on the field, so we're spreading the ball around, and guys are all playing good football at this point. And I think our O-line is playing the best football out of all. Outside of Tyree Walker, maybe Braden Locke, I think these guys are playing across the board the best they could play. And you can tell, like you can see it. There are holes everywhere. I mean, gaping holes. I would say on defense, keep stopping the run. Northwestern's going to try to run.
Stopping the run.
That's it.
And I think if there are nits to pick, it's that that Wisconsin's still not getting home to the quarterback. They're still not. They're not sacking the quarterback. They're getting some pressures, but they're not completely getting home. And I think once they start to face more upper echelon teams, that could come back to bite them in the butt. So I would like to see, because I don't think they had a single sack this weekend. Maybe one, but I don't even know if they had a sack. But so while, obviously they kept Kaliak Manis, like at 50% or so. I still feel once you're playing Penn State and a Drew Aller, once you're playing Oregon and a Dylan Gabriel, you have to get home on those guys because they can really, really punish you if you are not able to get them to the ground, faster or at all, like they've been struggling to.
But if we're going to do one thing and it's not going to be, my one thing would be like,
I would absolutely, I'm with you.
Make a team beat us in the air, and we have our best guys back there. Make them throw it for 300 yards. I dare you. If you're going to do something, I mean, that's what else. It's hard to be an all-around football team and say you can't run and you can't pass. That's like special stuff. We're on the verge of a meltdown over here.
That's fine because we are on the verge of wrapping it up here on Believe in Badgers Monday Morning Fullback. We'll be back later this week. More content as always. Make sure to check out our friends over at the Money Down live show here on Monday nights. You should tune in to talk with James, Sojourner, and Warren and the whole crew. But again, thanks for turning into Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oak Ridge Wealth Management. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin. Anyone watches has kids, you completely get it.